Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. But then you too are at the center of the world, and we'll get into that later. The title of today's talk, this morning's talk, is Bre Rabbit and the Tar Baby. Did you grow up with Uncle Remus tales? I did. I mean, that was Uncle Remus stories, Uncle Remus parables and tales were a part of my childhood. They're probably politically incorrect now because Uncle Remus was, of course, black. And the most famous tale, the one that I'm going to talk about today, was Bre Rabbit and the Tar Baby, and that's racist too. So anyway, but then Uncle Remus and the Tar Baby came up this morning in my writing, and that's usually where I get stimulated inspirations from my talks, is what I write about in the morning. So this is kind of like a verbal playback of what I do verbally or discover on commenting on Facebook. And so in case, and the reason one person said, well, what's the Tar Baby? She didn't know what the Tar Baby was. So I'm going to tell you. So Briar Rabbit, the whole the tales of Bre Fox and Bre Bear, big old bear and fox, their whole life was trying to catch the rabbit, Bre Rabbit, kind of like the Roadrunner and all the other cartoons we grew up. But anyway, so Bre Rabbit was always too clever. He was always one step ahead of Bre Bear and Bre Fox, But anyway, they came up with a way to catch him, and they created a Tar Baby and dressed it up and put the Tar Baby by the side of the road, just sitting there, And Bre Rabbit was hopping along, and he paused and says, well, howdy do to you, he said. And the Tar Baby said nothing. And Bre Rabbit, well, I said, how are you? And the Tar Baby said nothing. And this kind of irritated Bre Rabbit because he didn't like to be ignored. So he got up closer and said, what is the matter with you? And Tar Baby said nothing. And so Bre Rabbit got mad and kicked him, as rabbits do, and his foot got stuck. And he got really infuriated, and now he started smacking him and kicking him, and next thing you know, Bre Rabbit was stuck tight in the tar. And Bre Fox and Bre Rabbit and Bre Fox and Brother Bear, who'd been hiding and watching, gleefully came out and caught him. Oh, we've caught you now, and we're going to torture you. We're gonna punish you for all the times you have been so clever, and tricked us, So we're gonna get you now. And so they started coming up with different ways they could torture him. We're gonna chop you up. And every time they came up with something, Bre Rabbit would say, okay, but just don't throw me in the Briar Patch. So no matter what they came up with, Bre Rabbit says, okay, that's all right, but don't throw me in the Briar Patch. And so Bre Bear and Fox got thinking, wait a minute, is this Briar Patch is the worst punishment we have, so we'll throw him in the Briar Patch if that's the worst of the worst. So they threw him in the Briar Patch. And Bre Rabbit escaped the Tar Baby because in the briars kept the tar, and he was able to escape the tar by the briars clinging to the tar. And so that was the end of the story, I guess. And they went on to more. But anyway, so there you have Bre Rabbit and the Tar Baby. So these are parables, of course, with great wisdom in them. The wisdom is disguised. It's kind of like a sugar-coated medicine pill. This tastes like grape juice. Grapes, you can take that. It tastes good, So in other words, the wisdom comes sugar-coated in a story, so you can eat the medicine, the wisdom, without putting up a defense to it that blocks it from coming in. That's why parables and stories are great teaching method. Jesus used them all the time. And Zen uses them too. That's why I love Zen, because Zen is really a teaching in stories. drama. Story is a drama. There's the drama between Bre Fox, Bre Bear, and the fox and the rabbit, you see. So the teaching is in the story, in the action. It's demonstrated rather than being described like you would in a manual or in philosophy or in theology or whatever, or in prose. You see, it's demonstrated, in a little story. So it bypasses the discriminating mind. It bypasses the defense shield the mind puts up against wisdom that would melt your sense of pride, your sense of hubris, your arrogance. So the tar baby melted, or it was a story of the arrogance of Bre Rabbit. He was caught by his own arrogance. He was caught by his own pride, his own hubris, you see. And he escaped by going into the negative. In other words, like there's a story of an Arctic explorer who was trapped in ice and he had no tools, and all he had was a big turd, frozen. So he used the turd to chip his way out of the ice, and when he was free, he dropped the turd. And this is the teaching of Buddha when he says, my teaching is a raft. But when you get to the other shore, you don't carry the raft with you, you drop the raft. So the stories are kind of like they're metaphorical teaching, because the story, if you think the story is just a story, then you miss the teaching, because the story, what you want to do with the story is penetrate it, is make it transparent. So the story is about Bre Rabbit, but it's not about Bre Rabbit, it's about you. So there's you, which is like first person I, me, I, my sense of self, and then there's it. So when the it out there, the world, form, reality, is presented to you as a story that really reflects you, so if you can see through the story, you see yourself. If you can see through the story, right, the spaces in the story, you see yourself looking back. You see yourself. And that is awakening. When you see yourself without the filter of words, of its, you see, when you see yourself on the other side, that is awakening. I told the story the other day about, you can experience this for yourself. I believe I forgot my mic again. My mic again. Sorry. And I even have a they're saying mic. Okay. So you can experiment this for yourself. So if you go stand at a crossroads, if there's a train in your town nearby, and you stand there, and the boxcars go by, and you just try to read the boxcars, you just read the story, you just read the box, you go and try to read each one, the names on each one. All you see is the boxcars. But if you relax your eyes and relax your focus, you will see through the boxcars, because each boxcar's got a little space. See, they're connected like that. And as it goes by, if you stop following the boxcars, you'll see through the boxcars, and you'll see people standing on the other side waiting to get you. There's no impediment to reality. So the stories, the Zen stories, the tar baby, the parables, movies, extended metaphors, are obstacles that have spaces so that if you can read the story without fixing on the story, you see through the story and you see the truth of yourself. And the truth of yourself is that there is no impediments. There are no boxcars. There's no train of thought. You can see through it. And then it's just vast space without impediments. It's just vast mind. It's just vast you. Where can you go that you are not? So anyway, that was, then there's a lot of other angles on the tar baby. We're always getting stuck on the tar baby, and we can't let it go. And the more we try to shake it off, the more we're stuck we get. So how do you get off the stuck? You have to use the word. You have to use what you're trying to avoid in order to get free from the tar baby. That's why you use the briars. The worst thing in the world to get free from the tar baby. So you have to use, well, anyway, I'm starting to ramble here, so I'm going to drop it right there and leave you with Uncle Remus and the tar baby. Thanks for dropping in.